guys, today I'm out at Sooke River in Sooke, BC. It's about half an hour away from Victoria, BC, where I'm currently located. Sooke River flows from Sooke Lake all the way down to the Pacific Ocean here in Vancouver Island. Sooke has dry summer subtropical climate, meaning CSB climate. With it being CSB climate, that means that 4 or more months of the year has an average temperature of 10 degrees or higher, with no month having an average higher than 22 degrees Celsius. Being a coastal climate, we get a lot of rain, precipitation in the winter months, a lot less in the summer months. In the winter months, we get around 140 millimeters of precipitation per month, whereas in the summer, we hit a low about in July of only about 20 millimeters of rain. Winters, we get a pretty mild winter. Typically, it doesn't get below freezing, whereas in the summer, we can see an average of about 15 to 20 degrees monthly, which leads to a fairly mild climate overall. Now, when we look at the river, we see it comes down from all the way up there, and it comes down here, and also goes on the other side of this little island here. You can see over time that this island has formed. So it comes flowing down here, flows down the other side, and as we get down here, we see the velocity of the river increases quite rapidly as there is much more of an elevation gradient going down into here where it comes down up there. Now, looking at some of the little calmer areas of the river, we see little eddies being formed here as the stream kind of comes in here and it circles around in here, eventually kind of having some runoff down there, going back into the river. Looking closer, we can see lots of sediment deposition. As the river has high velocity flowing down here, we'll see lots of bed load and suspended load carrying the sediment down into these calmer areas, and because the velocity is decreased quite a bit, you see a lot of it is being deposited down here over time. And if we look at some of the rocks along the side of the river, we can see a lot of abrasions happen over time. A lot of these rocks are quite smooth from the fine particles of sediment traveling over it, along with these rocks on here along the side as well. Alright, so looking at the map, you can see where we were right here, right now. We walked down here. So next we're gonna come down the river and check out some of the spots a little farther down the river. Alright, so now that we're a little higher up, we can start to see some more of the landforms of the river here. Right along here we got a little point bar as the river meanders around the corner. It's left a lot of sediment along the corner, and then as we come down here, you can really start to see around the river where a lot of the water really comes from. A lot of the river is in a deep valley, so we're going to see a lot of rainwater come down all the mountains and the sides and all just feed into the water. So another feature you can see down here, we got a nick point right here. There is a large change in slope, which is like a little waterfall here. And as you can see, with the much higher velocity, there's a much deeper groove between the rocks. This is because the higher velocity has more effect on the abrasion of the rocks down here. So with the high speeds, we see a deeper low valley, and then can't quite see in the video, but there's another nick point just over here where it's speeding up again, and almost like a little whitewater rapids kind of thing. Alright, so up here we got a great example of the weathering that the glaciers have caused in this area. So as the glaciers moved along here, it tore away a lot of the rock and left a lot behind. And we can see here that those little potholes from weathering. And then it goes all the way down. The river continues all around here and keeps going around the corner. Alright, so we're now at the Sooke potholes viewing spot where we can see a few more land formations. So if we start from looking up here, as the stream comes down, it slows down in here. We can see some eddies being formed here, some circular motions in the water. As it comes down here, we see another nick point right here, causing a large increase in the velocity of the water. And then we have another one down here where it comes up and then it flows into here. So here we can see another input into the river here. There's a waterfall coming down here, runoff. It's a creek comes down here, comes under the bridge, and then it flows down into the river up there. Now, as we kind of take a look from a Google Earth point of view along the river, you can really get a good idea of what type of input is going to be into the river. From this, we see a lot of it is going to be runoff from the steep mountains we have, as the river is in the bottom of a deep valley. And as we continue to see, we see there's lots of trees along as well. This is going to create a more gradual input into the system, as it's not all directly going into the river.